So throughout this course, we're going to be using the IPython notebook format that we've been looking at so far. And it's a great format for a class like this because it lets me put little blocks of code in there and put little text and things around it explaining what it's doing, and you can experiment with things live. So it's awesome from that standpoint. But in the real world, you're probably not going to be using IPython notebooks to actually run your Python scripts in production. So let me just really briefly go through the other ways you can run Python code and other interactive ways of running Python code as well. So it's a pretty flexible system. Let's take a look. Alright, so I want to make sure you know there's more than one way to run Python code. Now throughout this course, we're going to be using the IPython notebook format that we introduced already, because it's a really great format for annotating code and sort of explaining things and putting notes around little blocks of code and experimenting with things and trying different things really quickly. But in the real world, you're not going to be running your code as a notebook. You're going to be running it as a standalone Python script. So I just want to make sure you know how to do that and see how it works. So let's go back to this first example that we ran in the course, just to illustrate the importance of whitespace. We can just copy that code out of the notebook format and paste it into a new file. So let's make a new file here and paste it in. And let's save this file and call it, I don't know, test.py, where py is the usual extension that we give to Python scripts. Now I can run this in a few different ways. I can actually run up a command prompt. If I go to Tools, I can go to Canopy Command Prompt, and that will open up a command window that has all the necessary environment variables already in place for running Python, and I can just run Python test.py, and out comes my result. So in the real world, you'd probably do something like that. It might be on a cron tab or something like that. Who knows? But running a real script in production, it's just that simple. I could also run it from within the IDE. So from within Canopy, I can go to the Run menu. I can either go to Run File or hit this little play icon, and that will also execute my script and see the results here down at the bottom in the output window here. So that's another way to do it. And finally, you can also run scripts within this interactive prompt down here interactively. So I can actually type in Python commands one at a time down here and have them just execute and stay within the environment down here. So for example, I could say stuff, make it a list, and have 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I can say len stuff, and that will give me 4. I can say, I don't know, for x in stuff, print x, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see you can kind of make up scripts as you go down here and execute things one thing at a time. And stuff in this example is a variable we created, a list, and that stays in memory, kind of like a global variable in other languages within this environment. Now, if I do want to reset this environment, if I want to get rid of stuff and start all over, the way you do that is you go up to the Run menu here, and you can say Restart Kernel, and that will start you over with a blank slate. So now I have a new Python environment down here that's a clean slate, and in this case, what did I call it? Stuff. Stuff doesn't exist yet because I have a new environment here. But I can make it something else. 4, 5, 6, and there it is. So there you have it. 3 ways of running Python code: the IPython notebook, which we'll use throughout this course just because it's a good learning tool. You can also run scripts as standalone script files, and you can also execute Python code down here in the interactive command prompt. So there you have it. And there you have it, 3 different ways of running Python code and experimenting and running things in production. So keep that in mind. We're going to be using notebooks throughout the rest of this course, but again, you have those other options when the time comes.